Why is it that there are more women praying than men? Why is it that there are more women in church, in prayer groups, in Bible study than men? It looks bad, it looks unfair, and it almost seems like the women are doing all the heavy lifting spiritually, and I don't get it. I never used to get it until when I thought about it. I'm part of a prayer group and there are way more women than men, and someone was asking a question, why is it that this prayer group is for women? Why is it only women? She wanted to know, and everyone genuinely wanted to know. But the instructor told us, the person leading the group said, there are men, but the men are in the background. And it seems unfair because, let's be honest, men are supposed to be the leaders. But when you look in nature, you will be amazed. You will be so amazed that in nature actually teaches us that women are leaders. I don't know how we got it wrong. Because once the woman is not in order, a home, a family, if a woman doesn't have the skills of leadership, I'm not saying she's going to be head over the man. If a woman does not have skills of management skills, leadership skills, communication skills, if the woman is not well equipped, whether physically or spiritually, the place where she is will not be intact, whether it's a home, a workplace, whatever. Just imagine a church that is only filled with men. The amount of chaos that is going to be in there, the energy is not going to be balanced. But a church could be filled with only women and that church will thrive. Why? Because women are vulnerable. Once the enemy attacks women, it's easy for the men to be targeted. Think about it when we go back in Genesis. And if Eve had not eaten the fruit, I think the enemy would have had a hard time to make Adam eat the fruit. But back to the point where there are more women in the church and it seems unfair, but a praying woman, a praying wife, a praying mother is a different kind of mother. Just think about a home where the wife or the woman is not prayerful and it's just the man praying. Even the man is supposed to pray, but I believe, even as I grow more in faith, that a woman should be praying. Because as her husband goes out there, her children as they go out there, she should be covering them, and covering them not just physically, but spiritually. Think about a hen. A hen, when a hen gives birth to chicks, when the chicks are hatched and they come to life and the chicken has to take care of them. If you've grown up in the village, I'm lucky enough, I know that the cock, the male chicken, usually looks for food and gives and provides and lets the hen eat first and the chicks. Before they eat, that cock rarely eats actually. It makes sure when a cock gets food, calls the hen, they come. When the hen comes, the chicks eat first, and then the hen, and then the cock. The cock only eats after the female and the chicks are full. That's how it should be. But when you look at a hen, the hen covers the little ones. The hen makes sure everything is intact. When that hen is not happy, the cock is gonna be restless. When the hen is sick and it can't cover the chicks, they are restless. They're not happy, and the cock does not know how to do it. One time I've seen that there was a hen that gave birth to chicks. It was surprising, and this hen did not really care about the chicks, and the chicks found their ways to the cock, but the cock was so confused. It was trying to cover them like how the hen does it, but it wasn't so good. And those chicks were raised by a cock. They turned out well, but it was difficult for the cock. He would try to cover them. He would try to, obviously looking for food, he knows how to look for the food, but the nurturing was not the same. That is the same thing. Men pray, and they should be praying, in fact, very well, but a woman that does not know how to pray and to cover her family spiritually, it will be easy to attack her husband. It will be easy to attack her children. It's going to be easy for the enemy to come in, because the enemy knows that the easiest way to come in is to come through the weakest point. And usually the weakest point, I'm not just saying that, oh, women are weak, women are not weak, they are strong, otherwise they wouldn't be giving birth. But even when you watch movies, usually when they want to attack a man, they use women. In history, there are many historical strong men that where women were used to destroy them. The enemy knows that, or once I get into these women, make them promiscuous, the clubs are going to be filled with women. Men naturally cannot stay, like men cannot resist the temptation of a woman. If a woman has a fruit, a man will eat it 9 out of 10 times. It is so rare. I tried it myself. I was like, is it true? Because I was watching on TikTok that Adam can never refuse what comes from the hands of Eve. And I was literally in the public transit with strangers, and I would offer them food, like offer them maybe a sweet or whatever. And let me tell you, it is hard for men to resist something that comes from a woman. It is so hard, and that's the way it is. But so that means that if a woman is not grounded spiritually, if she doesn't have good intentions, if she doesn't know how to cover her husband and children, then the enemy is going to come in. Also, the good thing about women being going to church, being prayed up, it will help us to have discernment. If you've seen someone that lacks discernment, is one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And for me, when I look at the gifts of the Holy Spirit, wisdom, prophecy, healing, discernment, praying in tongues, interpreting tongues, I think those are the gifts of the Holy Spirit. For me, the one that I pray for and the one that I ask the Lord to give me is discernment and knowledge. Because if you've looked well, if someone has wisdom and discernment, they can do almost everything else will become easy for them. We see that from Solomon when the Lord asked him, what do you want me to do for you? Solomon asked for wisdom, because wisdom is the principal thing. Once you have wisdom, once you know how to distinguish between good and bad, most of the things will become easy for you. No wonder Solomon was blessed with everything else he didn't ask for, because it's like he had asked for it all. That's what I learned from Solomon. I know sometimes we'll be thinking that Solomon was a bad man. That man was not a bad man. If you look closely, he is wise. He had reverence for God, but his weakest point was women. He loved women. He intermarried women that the Lord told him not to marry. Those women were believing in other gods, women from other cultures. And no matter how deep he was in the Lord, and those women were not prayed up, they ended up making him sin. His weakness came because his women were not prayed up, no matter how much Solomon loved the Lord. If you read 1 Kings, when he was ordained king, how you begin Proverbs, his mother told him, his father David told him the Lord loved him, but because he was with women of other cultures that were not Israelites, that were not prayed up, the enemy, I said, goes through the weakest link, and men cannot resist women. He fell or he sinned because of the women that we are not in the Lord, because of the women that were not prayed up. Again, a praying woman, a praying wife, a praying partner, a praying girl is a different type of woman. And it is necessary. I know it looks unfair that in the church, while there are more women than men, men are also praying. But a praying woman is different. A praying mother is different. A woman that has discernment is different. You see how, like the Queen of Sheba, how she was wise, how she was interested in wisdom. We are all fascinated by her. And we are like, wow, what a woman. And how she was interested in the wisdom of Solomon. She wanted discernment and knowledge, and that is amazing. So ladies, I know it seems unfair, but stay prayed up, because you cover your family. And because if the enemy cannot come to you, it's going to be difficult for him to get to your children and to your spouse, to your husband, all right? If you found this video interesting, I want to make a playlist of other inspiring and motivating videos I've done before. See you in the next video. Be blessed. A praying woman, a praying wife, a praying mother is a different kind of woman. In many spaces in our faith as Christians, we see that in the church there are more women than men. In Bible study, in prayer groups, there are more women than men, and women seem to be the ones doing all the hard work spiritually, and it seems unfair. But let's go back to Genesis, where the enemy literally attacked Eve, and that was it. If you think about it, if Eve was not tempted by the enemy, what would have happened? I think that the enemy would have still planning, even up to today, how to make Adam eat the fruit. But because the lady was not rooted, which is sad, she ate the fruit and gave her husband. He couldn't resist. Once the enemy attacks the lady and he hits his target, it's going to be a short while until he also targets the man. So, because women are in these spaces, it looks like, oh, it's only women praying, but when you think about it and when you look around you, there are many women everywhere. It's not that, I don't believe there are more women on earth than men. I honestly believe that it's the same amount of men and women. I honestly believe that, oh, if there are more women, or if the women are many, it's just slightly more. Not that, oh, there are way too many women, there are no men. I don't believe that. God does not work like that. He created us in pairs, male, female, okay? But I am part of a prayer group, and one of the members was complaining. A praying mother, a praying wife, a praying woman is a different woman. Women are in different spaces, and usually in church, there are way too many women than men. And it seems unfair. In praying groups, in Bible study, there are way too many women in those groups, and it looks very unfair. But there are many women on the street, there are many women in the club, there are many women everywhere. You could go to literally any place. At the beach, there are more women. I'm part of a prayer group where it's mainly dominated by women. And at first, to me, it looked unfair. And another lady was like, why is this group only for women? And I was like, I need to know the answer to. But now I know. I know because a praying woman is a different woman. And every time you think about it, or if you pay attention, you will see that once the enemy targets the woman, it's difficult for the man to escape. Think about it in Genesis, where Eve and Adam, A praying mother, a praying woman, a praying lady, a praying wife, a praying woman is a different woman. I'm part of